I'm more just with these.
Bridge? On our bridge or the other bridge? July 3rd, or not, September, August.
Yeah.
You get more traffic by your house?
Just the usual.
How are your tomatoes this year?
Green. They're all green. They're not turning very fast.
Mine too.
I had peppers. I thought my peppers were going to die. So snapping out. Oh, a puppy. Hunter, I'll show you. He's got tomato, fried tomatoes. You don't want puppy.
I ate myself.
Oh.
What?
And I got one at home waiting. Yeah, it's odd that they're red this early, for sure. Usually they're. I was leaving with Doug's birthday because it's August 12th, and I was always making the first six batches also. I haven't heard anything.
Calls me in order.
Adams.
Here.
Richford.
Here.
Hamilton.
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Peckney. The Open Meeting Act is on the east wall.
Approval of consent agenda, June 8th, 2026, city council meeting minutes, June 2026, bills paid. Keno receipts totaling $8,888.47. JEO consulting invoices.
Second.
Richford.
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Hamilton.
Yes. Item number 3, ordinance number 548, amending the city of Bennington zoning map to include CMA cluster mixed use overlay district for Block 1 Bennington Park Plaza, which will be platted as rich subdivision plots 4 outlots 8.
This is the townhome development that we have been addressing for a couple of years now. To clarify aspects of it. Tonight we're asking you to approve a ordinance which approves a cluster mixed-use overlay district that allows the developer to do adjustments with the current plan by front yard setbacks, side yard setbacks, rear yard setbacks, maximum lot coverage, whatnot. Having all discussed during the planning process. Formally address it by the.
Over into quite a bit of detail, but they may have any questions. Motion. We have a motion to introduce and waive the 3 readings.
Second.
Richford.
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Hamilton.
Yes.
Peckney.
Yes.
A motion to approve and adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Lee.
Yes.
Richford.
Yes.
Peckney.
Yes.
Hamilton.
Yes. Item number 4, Bennington Trail and Park Plan, map and invoice number 3345 for $22,800. Nothing matches funds.
So this is the match for the park plan, trail plan. And we also will be getting 11,400 from NRD. So our total cost will come out to 11,400.
Any questions? We have a motion to approve.
Richard,
Yes.
Beckman,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Next item, Big Papio Creek Trail, resolution number 2026-07, supplemental agreement with HDR Engineering for environmental services for $103,956.12.
So the environmental increase comes from 4F and 6F impacts for projects receiving federal funding. These are federal laws that protect certain types of public land. Law requires that each nearby property has its own analysis for these impacts. So HDR will be conducting these, and that's the reason for the increase. So right now, the match number will not go up. They still have 189,000 contingency funds. So like I talked about with HDR, our budget will be on track. Any questions?
Assume a lot of this has to deal with the fact that we're doing that underpass with the creek.
So how much of this are we paying for?
339,714.
And that's out of our pocket?
That's our match for the $1.7 million project.
Which, if I remember correctly, we're taking the majority out of. You can look there. I think we were planning on using a lot of the Keno funds.
We also have park funds that could be used for that, so.
Out of the current year's budget.
This all won't be in the current year's budget.
It won't all be in the current year.
I think we mainly budgeted for like the Mappa Trail. If I'm not looking over this, I believe it was 27, 28 that we were budgeting for. Yeah, 27, 28. Do we have a motion to approve? Questions?
HDR and HRG. Two separate things, right?
Yeah, HDR is different.
And this was the trail that goes under,
Yeah.
basically connects, on the north side of Bennington Road, goes under the bridge, will connect with Newmeyer Farms and comes out onto Bennington Road. Or it should be 156.
And that amount, I mean, we're not writing a check for that right now. That's just the amount of the increase. That amount will be billable as we move forward in the project.
Yeah, we're not expending anymore. State of Nebraska wanted to send us these preliminary changes so we know what's happening within the grant. The match will stay the same.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Our share stays the same.
Ours,
In
yes.
dollar amount.
correct.
Correct. Which was that 300 number.
Okay.
When did they want to start it?
I'm sorry?
When did they want to start it?
They would like to start in May. I did talk to them that probably June would be better because of school. So they may have to shut down some of that roadway, but they won't shut down the whole thing. They promise it'll be one lane if they need to shut anything down.
Did they say how long it would take?
I don't have an estimate on that. Okay. That'll be based on when they get the bids.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 26-07.
Second.
Richard,
Yes.
Beckman,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hamilton.
Yes.
Kind of a continuation of this, resolution number 2026-08, the supplemental agreement with HDR Engineering for preliminary engineering services for $201,392.06.
just telling us what the agreement will be.
Gotcha.
We're just breaking this up because one is environmental, one is preliminary engineering.
Correct.
But if you add them up, that's the 300 we're talking about.
Motion to approve?
Yeah, so moved.
Second,
Hackney,
Yes.
Bridgeford,
yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Last one, Nebraska Department of Transportation invoice number 0650985, totaling $11,262.77 for 20% of original preliminary engineering environmental services agreements with HDR.
So this would be the first payment for our match.
Toward the 20%.
Correct.
We have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Bridgeford,
Yes.
Hackney,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hamilton.
Yes.
Item number 6, 2026 sanitary sewer CIPP improvements. Municipal Pipe Tool Company LLC, application 2, totaling $102,948.17.
Good evening. This is pay application number 2 on our sewer lining project. They have got all of the sanitary sewer lining done. They have restored all of the services. So everybody should be flowing correctly. Now again on this project, and they've lined all but one section of the storm sewer pipe because the as-built that we were given back in the day had the wrong size pipe on them. They had an 18-inch pipe and it's actually a 24-inch pipe. So they've lined all of the 18, they TV'd that 24. And we have been doing some math with the contractor. They did underrun a number of the construction items. So at next month's meeting, I know I sent an email to Lane and Kevin today. We can line that 24-inch pipe at no additional cost over what we had awarded in the original contract. And in fact, you'll still be about $11,000 under the original award. So that is something we are recommending that you guys go ahead and get that. And it's actually a longer section of pipe than we had in the bid as well. We had been talking to them about their pricing on that. It was a significant jump over the 18 and we were working to understand that. Most of it is, one, you got a really good price at 18. And this is a petroleum-based, somewhat parts of it are petroleum-based, and so there's been a significant increase in materials due to the oil prices jumping as well. But that change order will be for another, for your next meeting. What we have on here is the $75,000, or no, that's the balance to finish. The $102,948.17 for payout number 2 for the work completed on this project to date. I guess if there's any questions on that, or any questions or concerns with the future change order, I can take those.
On the TV that they did, they find any significant damage to that 20?
There's a crack on the top of most of that 24-inch pipe, which none of it's failing yet, so it will need to be lined someday. It wouldn't necessarily have to be lined today. But since they're here, they can do it and it's not going to cost us anymore. I'd recommend we just go ahead and get it taken care of. But again, that would be something that if you didn't want to do that, then obviously the project would be a lot further under budget. But this was budgeted out of the sewer funds for the most part, where we have a healthy balance.
Yeah.
So staying at or below the current contract price was our goal with the addition to begin with. I know when we first talked to Kevin and Lane about it, I thought we were gonna run about 20,000 over, so I was concerned about doing that, but I didn't realize how many items they were under on, and how many changes and different things that we had, so that's probably the difference.
You mentioned talking to them about the significant jump. Do you think they would come down at all?
Doesn't sound like it from when Emily visited with them. You know, and we also found out the company had recently been bought out by a larger company. So they're not the small town company that they used to be.
Of course.
So And there are not that many of the companies that do this work in this part of Nebraska either, so I could see why maybe they were attractive purchase by a larger municipal. But yeah, it is our recommendation to approve and pay the contractor for this payment.
For next month's meeting, could you, when you present it, can you tell us what that difference would be if we decide to not do it?
Well, if you decide not to do it, yeah, because
Or
I
if
have,
you have the number?
I have the number now. You should know me, I have the number now. You would save, I mean, we were planning on lining about 192 feet of pipe. So that would be just about $50,000 for that lining. They've already televised it, so we would need to still, pay them for the televised. They had televised additional length over what we had initially required.
So about 61 under budget if we didn't.
Yeah, give or take.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve this pay application?
So moved.
Second.
Heckman,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Richard.
Yes.
JEO Consulting Group Engineering Contracts for street work. Design.
Bridge repairs not? Number 7?
Just kidding.
I'm like, wait a minute, that's not how I stack my stuff.
Ahead of myself there, sorry about that. Bennington Road Bridge Repair. We have Amy Collins pay application number 1 for $101,942.79. Deal Geotech invoice for $625.50 and change order number 2 for concrete approach repairs totaling $11,373.90.
Alright, so this is for the bridge approach repairs on Bennington Road, over by the elementary school. The pay application includes work that was completed as of the end of last week. They have poured back both approaches. So we're in our 28-day cure time, which pending successful breaks of that concrete street, we will be able to open that up once they do all the finished work well before school. There are a couple items that did come up during construction, and that is the change order work. Some of that was when we removed the old slab, the support or grade beam that they call it was sitting lower than what I'd say is typical. So we needed another 1.1 cubic yards of concrete to pour back the concrete approach. There was also some surfacing under the guardrail that was crumbling, so when they did the removals and they did the excavation to replace the drainage, so hopefully this never happens again, that fell apart. So we had them go ahead and remove it, and we need them to put that back in. And that was about 6 square feet of pavement to replace. There were some dowel bars that had to be saw cut with the project that were not shown on the original plans. And then the bridge joint nosing. Everybody's probably looking at that and saying, what the heck is bridge joint nosing? So what happened is when we removed the concrete, we had overlaid Bennington Road, as everybody probably remembers, a number of years ago. There was a section of that was up against the old joint that kept moving back and forth. And so when they removed the concrete, it had adhered to the joint, so it popped off. They make a piece of, I think it's metal or something, that can fill in that gap, and you just lay it in there, and it's actually it works better with the expansion joint. To help protect that edge, the only other option would be to either do an overlay in that area, so we're spending money on a road we know we want to replace in a few years, or Lane gets to continuously put cold patch in there, which is definitely not a good idea, because it will be something that you'll have to do. And the price of this joint nosing, you can see, is $3,600. You would spend well more than that to do either of the other 2 pavement options. The last item that you'll notice is we have the subsurface drainage matting. When the project was bid, the units were called out as square feet. They should have been square yards. So we just corrected that paid quantity as well as adjusted the unit price, because we didn't want to just take 9 times the 105. because that wasn't the correct price for the work that they did. So we've renegotiated that price. So the net change, on this change order is $11,373.90. For additional work, we are still under the amount that we had in the budget on this project, and if you remember, that a portion of this was paid by the bidder who requested to be released from the contract. So we're still well under what was budgeted for this project. As of right now, they are on, as I mentioned, they are on schedule, and we should be able to get that open before school starts in mid-August. There is a chance it could even be opened up before the end of the month, as long as they get the sidewalk. But they need to wait for some of the concrete to cure before they can pave the sidewalk, otherwise they're wheelbarrow concrete into the sidewalk, and that it's not something people want to do when it's 100 degrees out. And the concrete work should, for the sidewalk, just a couple days is all we need for cure to get kids on and walking. Any questions on this project or the change order?
What are we looking like under the budget? April ones.
I mean, I think we had budgeted this at 200 or 225,000. So even with the change order total would put us at just under 175. So we're still 25 to 30 under budget.
The motion to approve items A, B, and C.
So moved.
Second.
Richard,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Stephanie,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Now we'll talk about JO Consulting Group engineering contracts for street work. We have the design and construction management for asphalt overlay of Molly, Stark, and Allen. North Second Street totaling $79,400. And a design for pavement of Inference Road to Doug Nelson Complex totaling $27,450.
Yep, I'll go ahead and review both of these. We may need to make motions on them separately depending on how you wish to proceed with the two projects. So when we met on the budget for street and parks here a few weeks ago in June, it was back in June. It was in June? We're in July already. Jeez, summer's gone by. We talked about the first project, which is the asphalt overlay of, initially it was gonna be Molly from, Howard up to the new paving, Stark from Molly all the way down to Bennington Road, and then the block of Allen between Bennington Road and North Second Street. As we looked at streets in the area, North Second needs a little bit of help, as well as the blocks of Molly and Stark south of Bennington Road. So what we had discussed was getting design plans put together for all of those streets, and then bidding the newer blocks, so North Second Street and then the street south of Bennington Road as alternates. So we can gauge, depending on how much gets budgeted for this project, we have some money in this year's budget that will carry over for next year. Depending on how much you budget, we will award the work for what they bid, but to keep it within budget. If there are blocks of those streets that the council feels are not needed, we can amend the contract and deduct those. The team put together the total, so we could say, hey, if you didn't want to, let's say you didn't want to do North Second Street, we would say, okay, and I don't have those numbers with me, they didn't send me those, but we would reduce the contract amount accordingly, and I coordinate that with the mayor to make sure that number was acceptable. But these are streets that really have not been touched in the past 15 years or so. They're all asphalt surface streets. Lane and everybody before him, the patching work is for the most part done on the majority of these streets. Probably the exception might be Allen south of Bennington Road. So we should be able just to come in and overlay them, get everything cleaned up, get them all resurfaced, get rid of the hodgepodge of different patches that we've got after NDP came through. So that, and this is an agreement that goes all the way through design through construction management services. Because in discussions, we know we want to do this work next year. This would not include any topographic survey of these areas. We're gonna lay everything out off of aerials and LiDAR and then do a field reconnaissance for those areas that maybe would hold water. So we'll coordinate that with Wayne and Kevin to make sure, but just to save some budget, it doesn't make, when you're doing an overlay, you don't have to do topographic surveys unless we know there's an area of large concern where you have to change grade. But I don't recall any of those as I've driven through these areas a lot. So that is the first agreement. The second agreement, with the new high school going in and starting use of fields 28 in the fall of 28, they are planning on using the baseball field at Doug Nelson for their, not only the existing high school, but the new high school as well. So that's going to double the amount of games during the high school season, and we are anticipating that that would also likely result in 2 separate region teams. We could be wrong on that, but that will be an increase in games for just that high school age group, in addition to all the games that currently go on at that complex. You've been placing the dust stuff down every 3 years. So Lane had asked for an idea on what it would cost to pave the portion of the road from the street into where the parking lot starts. So it's about 600 feet. So this agreement would be to do a topographic survey, design, and then get some geotechnical information so that we can make sure we do whatever improvements to the soils we need to support that road. Get the design so we can figure out what this is going to cost. Then we can approach the school district, we can approach Legion, we can approach the ball teams to see if there's a way we can partner on paving this road and improving this area and reducing the need from having to put the oil stuff down every 3 years. We are scheduled for this summer to do the oil, correct?
End of the month.
End of the month. So we would not be planning on building this road probably until maybe the summer of 28, so we can at least, so we can get 2, if not 3 years out of this. And it could be something where, I mean, we're gonna have to do this work outside of fall season, so we got to figure out when that would be. But the thought process is to do an asphalt street back here, because that can go in and be used a lot quicker than a concrete street. But we may want to discuss bidding one against the other. My thoughts are we put a curb on the north side of the road. So that way, if we ever want to add a sidewalk on that side, we can. We would actually not crown the road like we typically do. We would just super elevate everything so it drains to the south, as the road does today. Everything seems to sheet across and drain over there. We could do curbs on both sides, and if there's storm sewer in the area, we can tie in that way. But as of right now, I'm not 100% sure where that storm sewer is and if it's close enough to make it work. So we were planning on only doing the curb on the one side.
600 feet covers everything that we currently oil, so that's like from current pavement to the back parking lot, to where the back parking lot starts, essentially.
Correct. Yeah, so it's right where you kind of go in.
All the rock parking remains. We just connect it with the paved street.
Correct. I mean, if you really want to spend some money, we can pave that parking lot. But I've done a number.
I'm not advocating that.
No.
Okay.
The other thing I know Lane and I have talked about is working towards doing some more paving for the handicap accessible stalls within that area, just to make those more accessible.
Yeah.
As he, we're the good thing is we're starting to struggle to find patching that needs to be done. So there could be 1 year where maybe we don't patch and we pave those in lieu. So we're not doing that. But that isn't something that's necessarily part of this proposal. So this engineering agreement would get us through. Make sure I'm looking at the right ones. Would be through design. And it does include bidding, even though we probably wouldn't be bidding this for a couple of years. We did go ahead and include the bidding costs in here if we were to move forward. And it does include the geotech study in this as well.
And then going back to 8A, you were talking about Stark to the south of Bennington Road and Allen to the south. But what's the total scope of that street work?
So when you're looking at Allen, if you include all of the alternates, we'd start about Thayer/3rd Street, whatever, depending on which map you look at, what they call it, and we go all the way to North Second. So that'd be about 3 blocks.
Okay.
On Stark, we'd start about South Second Street, post office, somewhere in that area. We'd have to find a good spot and go all the way up to Molly. So that's probably ends up being about 4 blocks
Okay.
if you do a traditional block layout.
Where it kind of merges into Molly.
More it merges into Molly. And then we do about a block to a block and a half of Molly from Howard all the way to the new development.
Howard
paving.
New Development.
And then we do the little bottom part of the triangle, for lack of a better term for what to call that.
Okay.
And then North Second, we were looking at from Allen all the way over to 156th.
Okay. To that mind, to my mind, that covers
Covers that
a
whole
lot
area.
of deferred maintenance.
Right.
Okay.
Just about all.
Yep.
Okay.
And with that, we would have to review all of the curb ramps to make sure that they meet current standards. A lot of the curb ramps in that area have been done, so there shouldn't be,
Well, and there's a lot
Much.
without sidewalks
yeah, and there's,
to raise old issues. So there's not any curb ramps.
so, but that would just be something we would have to do to stay in compliance with ADA.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
So yeah, and finally on the schedule on the asphalt overlay, we would get started on that right away with the goal to bid it as soon as possible. As of right now, in talking to a couple asphalt companies, they still have a little bit of scheduled time available in October, unless it turns cold early. I don't know that they have enough to do all of this at once, and so they may want to come out and do everything at once, which means we would aim to be one of the first projects in the spring, so it's all done before Bennington would be the goal.
We did budget for, 8A in this budget cycle, so the 79,400 is budgeted for. We also budgeted for the work too, so that will just carry over.
Yeah, we budgeted for about half of the construction work, knowing even if we would have bid it and started work now, it would likely carry over into the next fiscal year as well. But yeah, the Doug Nelson Road was not part of the current budget. So that might be something that if need be, we would just hold off and wait to do that in the next budget cycle.
As far as the design though, I mean.
Yeah.
That could fit within
It-
what we budgeted, so.
And that would be the other thing is I've been known to hold an invoice until October 1st as well, when need be. Any other questions on those agreements?
We have a motion to approve item A.
So moved.
Second.
Richard,
Yes.
Hackney,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
For item B, I think it's a good idea we got room in the budget, especially if we don't get a whole lot of work done for the overlay, we can just move the stuff around, but, get an idea what it would cost, for future budget. So, a motion to approve item B.
So moved. Second.
Lee,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Richford. Yes. Hackney,
Yes.
Newmeyer Farm Phase 2.
Good news is we're hoping to get approval from HUD tomorrow. Kevin needs to make one small change on the form that we had to redo once or twice already with them to include the funding in the current estimate. So that means we would be looking to put a notice in the paper. We might be ready to have Mindy send it to the paper this week, but we may also send it to the paper next week as we lay out the bidding schedule and making sure contractors have enough time to review it, and bid it. Cause a lot of times we will send our notices via email out a week or so before we get it in the paper, so that the contractors have a full month. Whereas if we start advertising on the 22nd, they would have 3 weeks to bid it. And this is a little more of a complex project, but we wanna make sure they've got plenty of time. So we may not put it in the paper till the 29th, August 5th, and then August 12th, where we would then open bids, either the 17th or the 18th of August. If we have a contractor that wants to start right away, pending mayor and Mindy approval, we could consider award at your special budget meeting on August 31st. If we don't have a contractor ready to get started, we'll present it to you at your regular September meeting. Assuming you're still having that special budget meeting on August 31st. We're still hoping that there would be, grading and that work started yet this fall. But it's really gonna depend on whoever the low bidder is and what their schedule is. So that is the update I have for you. So finally making some progress with it. Any questions at this point? Perfect. All right. Thank you very much.
Fireworks, but, 2027 firework permits for Bennington JCs and American Legion. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Richford,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Peckney.
Yes.
All right, library report.
You said it's out of town.
Yep. Still have somebody that wanted to talk to me. Do we still have somebody that wanted to talk to?
So,
Okay, thought that was part of something. All right. Norby?
They're
Please.
doing an awesome job.
They
How
are.
about that?
They are. And hauling them in and hauling them out.
Any questions?
More consistent.
I just wanted to take a moment to thank you and your police department on your investigation that you did with the 4 individuals as of recently. I know that took a lot of time and effort, so thank you. I appreciate taking care of that.
what is Desert Snow?
Yeah.
Desert Snow is a drug class of kind of hitting departments for drugs and stuff like that, and drug trends. It's good.
Good.
Public Works.
Any questions?
Do we know when they might be doing the patching there on, is it Allen?
End of the month.
End of the month, okay.
Yeah, they said that they should be in last week of July, and they said they think it'll take them about 3 days tops to do everything. Dust lot comes on the 28th.
Oh, that's not the 20th. We like to thank Max.
Max Peckney did a bunch of work at Timor, replaced the sign, and then this weekend they did some mulching and some plants in there, and we're putting in a tree as well.
Yeah.
So it looks amazing.
Yeah, thanks for your help. I appreciate it.
Good job with that. The 6 sprinkler heads, which is happenstance or something as far as action going on.
No, some of them were damaged, and then now just over time have been running damage. They finally pooped out, and then executive went through and nicely marked them for me, so I just went and replaced them. Well, right when I got here, Derek had said that some of them were damaged, so I went and got a box of the same heads, and it was quick and easy, but now it's running better.
More efficient.
You were looking at PPO tires, have you gotten any kind of estimates on those?
I haven't, when I looked at the website that I found, the rim size that we needed was sold out. I think they were selling those for about 300 a tire. I'm doing more research on them. We, at the company I work for, we did the airless tires, the ones that John Deere sells, that just have the like plastic spokes. They're not bad, but they're super light, so you don't get great traction. And in some of the areas that we need a little bit more weight to get traction, so that's why we are looking into feeding those.
Yes, sir. Office report?
I put on your desks, a hard copy of the special meetings budget happenings for the next couple of months. If you take a look at that and realize you can't make something, please let me know. And I wanted to remind you that the August meeting will be here for the city school. It'll start at 5 and we'll be feeding everyone. So we'll be in this room with the school board
On the 31st.
No.
on the 10th
Oh.
of August. That's budget stuff. I'm just
Oh.
saying that
Yeah.
at our next regular meeting, we will meet with this, we'll do a city school meeting beforehand.
So my question for Derek, how we looking with the city website?
Oh, well, before I take off, I can show you the mobile mock-up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
a mobile mock-up back. Right now, they are about 3 weeks deep in the development queue. I'm not sure, I know we have ours separated from the library as far as like the city site versus the library site. I think they're already ahead of us a little bit, because they had a lot easier changes. We're doing the full refresh. So we're getting bits and pieces of updates here and there, and yeah, just working out great. And so we're still on time for, the town web shutdown in November.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you. Project tracker. Now's the time for public comments on any topic or matter which wasn't discussed or on the agenda. Give your name and address, please.
Okay, you can sit there. I'm Jeanette Reed, I'm the owner of Dandelion Salon. Amber, contract owner of Cup and Cone.
Mia Eckhart, Floor and Fern.
She's
Sorry,
recovering very
gotta do
well.
me.
I guess we just kind of wanted to find out what the process is. We were looking at maybe hoping that maybe the city could help us do like some kind of a signage that's like for downtown, the business district that lists the businesses, like a marquee or something like that. Yeah, like a
Monument.
like a monument. Yep. We just didn't know where to start with that. Like, I guess
Like, is there a budget for downtown development?
Not this budget, but.
Cause, I mean, I love all the new, it's wonderful, but I mean, I bought a building 2 years ago, I haven't seen one thing, like nothing. Not besides the streets, things like that, but you know what I mean, to draw in people downtown as far as, looking at the pots, looking at the, like making it more.
Well, and as the downtown continues to develop, we just want to be able to get people down there. So there's really no way to put a sign anywhere. So that's why we're like, if there's a monument sign stating all the businesses, we think that would be super helpful. So.
Yeah, I know we've talked about it in the past. Shane and Katie might have some better memory than I have when this maybe come up in the past.
That's a lie. I don't have a better memory than you.
Okay.
Where did you? Where would be ideal? I mean, you're thinking
well,
at the southern entrance of town,
and
like
possibly
into
the
the
northern
east.
by the highway, but like for sure the southern, just so that it's right there by downtown, coming in.
So it's more of a destination. I hear that all the time. I'm sure you do too, that we didn't know you were down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not sure where the best spot would be because you have the digital one,
That's, makes it a little tougher. Cause isn't there a downtown district sign somewhere?
Yes.
So
I was
maybe,
gonna try to interrupt you a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes, we do have a historical downtown Bennington sign that was right there. When we had the 156th Street expansion project, we actually lost that street light that it was mounted on. So we really just don't have a place to mount it where it was,
Right.
but it's just more like Bennington Historical Downtown District with an arrow pointing right down.
Right.
right,
But that is what we do have on hand.
Can it be on the corner, like right past the library, like right by the city office? Can it be on that big corner there? Or, cause that's a pretty bigger spot, I guess, than right past the bridge or right before the bridge or.
It's hard to say where we want it because we don't know where
Yeah.
it could go,
Yeah.
potentially.
Well, that corner would be city property, so I think that's the first
Okay.
easy part about
Right.
that.
and we don't know too, up by the highway, I don't know if the city owns
Yes.
anything up there by the highway, so.
Yeah, it'd have to be a little bit farther south of, obviously where the highway starts.
Or could, like when you're on some highways, before you get to a town, there'll be the sign that has all the amenities. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Could you put it, I don't know, again, I don't know what you
Potentially,
should
I
do.
know, Kevin and I have been in talks with, is it the Bennington Foundation or what ladies or? Is it Foundation? Yeah, in regards to doing some signage, kind of by the bank, where there's this old sign there that has some Bennington sports and accolades and
Yes,
stuff like that, but
yes.
essentially doing a revamp of
Yes.
getting rid of that one and putting something else new there, so there might be an opportunity there to partner with that, but
That's a great, just it's visible from the Cubby's corner. Yeah, that's a great idea. I go near
Can you
that.
put street signs up, or is that too many regulations?
yeah, I don't know, yeah, it's something to look into. Not entirely sure.
Yeah, I printed off a couple copies, like just, kind of like
Mhm.
these, that
Oh, yeah.
they're pretty visible, the wider they are. Obviously, I don't know. I just think something to get the people to realize that we're down there. Cause I know Cup and Cone is a little bit more visible, but you still have to get into town to see it. And then you have to get up the street to see the flower shop. And then you have to go by the post office to see us. So,
Would there be an entity like the Bennington Chamber who could take charge of like maintaining it? Because the signs would have to be
Switched
updated
out.
right. Yeah.
and kind of governed a little bit.
Right,
There's
yeah.
so many spots on there, so.
Yep.
So there's several things to think about.
Well, if we as business owners are like 100%, if we have to put something into this to help
Yeah.
utilize
Do you
that.
have a
we-
downtown association?
You know what? That was my next comment is that what I need to do? Let's start that. How do I do that? How do we start a committee that's downtown? And how do you manage that? I know what I did in another city, but I don't know what to do here.
Good question.
Yeah.
I would be happy
Well,
to
like,
figure it out.
Maybe some that have been here a while. My next question was, when the fence was erected, was that property owners that paid for that? I was told by a property owner that's been here a long time. So when somebody wants something, they just come in individually and say, hey, can we do this? And then you guys vote on it. Is that the process?
Well, that fence went up, enough years ago that the panels that are
Mhm.
of family length, those were paid for by those families.
Okay.
And I think the city footed the rest of the bill for that, for the plane ones,
plane
yes. And you're absolutely right, we have never had a downtown committee or a downtown district committee, and I feel like that is a lot like a tree board, and a
Yes.
planning commission, and, it just depends on the levels of involvement,
Sure.
so, yeah.
So if we wanted to create that,
What's the
I guess, Shane, could you volunteer to help us?
Yeah.
Yeah, although my first step would be to go to a town of comparable size and see what they're doing and ask them, meet with them, see how it's working for them. Is it a nonprofit? Is it attached to the city? Is it independent? Does it have a board? How do they elect their board? And stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of downtown Bellevue. A
Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, or like Ashland
Yep.
or, Wahoo even,
Sure.
they've got a lot going on.
I just think Amber and I especially, looking forward to investing even more other buildings as they come up, encouraging property owners that are maybe just have empty buildings. We really feel like it's the time to create this so that we can keep moving forward and keep growing, the downtown finally.
So, yeah, city's very much willing to contribute where we can, be an open ear, that fun stuff. But yeah, as far as the signage goes, talk with the chamber, see what they're willing to do as well, pitch in.
When it comes to the digital sign, are we doing any sort of leasing for time or anything like that? We thought about anything like that?
No, we never have. We've only advertised for nonprofits, our local nonprofit organizations, and of course the city.
It's not a very big sign either. So,
And you'd have to run it every 5 seconds.
That's what I said, I might give it.
It's pretty hard, yeah.
You have to really
Catch everybody's.
Yeah, yeah, right,
You catch every fourth person.
yeah.
Yeah, something on this corner here to make potential there. Probably the best option I would imagine. And then as far as the north side of town, T Clark might be the one that was messaged us about that.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll dig to my email and send it to you guys.
Okay, yep, I'll reach out to these, thank you. On another note, the sidewalk and kind of the concrete, both up top and down below has some pretty good divots in it. How does that work on getting kind of that cleaned up? Some of it's very offset too, like as you walk down from us to like J-Dubs. So just kind of heads up.
Can I ask one more thing? Is there any budget for the alleys? I know I've asked Mindy about it before and she sent before. There's no budget? How does that work? They are terrible.
And so, the kind of, to my knowledge, from when this last came up, pretty much the precedent was that you had to form, what do you call it?
Would you like some help?
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes, please.
Go for it.
If you want to pave them, we have to create an alley improvement district, and then all the property owners are assessed. Currently, the city does what they can to grade them, and I think it's part of the dust block occasionally.
It is. It is this year.
This go around.
Yeah, so then they also do the dust block like they do out at the ball fields to help kind of solidify it as best you can, not being paved. But yeah, if you want to do pavement, but I think the petition rule, it would be by petition, so you need at least 60% of the property owners to sign on that petition to create the district.
That's typically where it's falling behind.
Yeah,
So
I get
any
it.
of the
There's only two
currently
online.
unpaved ones, that's what's been.
Yeah.
pulling it up.
Yeah. And I'm not saying it needs to be paid, but like we live in the country, we put this rock down and we run it down, it gets hard, and then our driveway stays pretty well. Is there any chance that could happen? I'm not even kidding. On Saturday, my Volvo tire got stuck in one of the ruts and I could just about barely get out of it. So, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I know the city crew, they do put new rock down and they do
Yeah.
try and grade it, but yeah, pretty much after every rainstorm, it
Yeah.
undoes everything.
Yeah, they're cleaning it up. Yeah, I get it. I just
But
wonder,
hopefully-
liability wise, when people are walking, that's the city property? Because obviously I'm in K now, so walking the alley isn't probably in my favor, but there's elders on my block. If they can't walk the alley, is that a liability issue?
I don't think we're paving it or grading it when we can,
Okay.
but
I doubt you guys drive down the alley, so the reason I'm telling that.
yeah, I know our city crew does quite a bit, but,
They do, yeah.
again, with it sounds like they're gonna be putting the dust lock down. If you've ever been out to the ball fields as of late,
Mhm.
it almost looks like it's asphalt,
Water, yeah. Oh, yeah.
with how much it compacts that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
hopefully you'll see an improvement with that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Any other public comments at this time? Our comments is closed. Motion to adjourn.
Energizer drink is.
Okay.